It's finally here. The Novacare complex opened its doors to 90 hungry men today who are all ready for a summer of twists, turns, and more importantly, football. Eagles training camp is back, and with that, here is everything you need to know from day number 1. Guys, if you enjoy this sort of video and want to see one after every single practice, let me know down in the comments. And of course, if you're new around here and enjoy this sort of content, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could hit that subscribe button. You can get daily content from myself and all of our writers at phillysportsnetwork.com. Biggest takeaway, of course, is that the team are injury free. Mostly. Considering just how many injuries the Eagles sustained last year, it was a massive relief to see that of all the 90 players currently listed on the roster, only one failed to suit up, and that man was cornerback Jalen Mills, who will start proceedings on the physically unable to perform list but can be activated at any time. He's the only player on that list as of right now, meaning of course that both Brandon Brooks and even Ronald Darby, who was reported placed on that list himself just a couple of days ago, are active. Now, in terms of their actual activity on the field, that's where things space out. Many of the names who suffered injuries last year, like Rodney McLeod, Corey Clement, Derek Barnett, and Ronald Darby, were all working to the sideline while the rest of the healthy team worked through 11 on 11, and that's something you can come to expect as training camp progresses. The second main takeaway is that after being made the $128 million man, Carson Wentz returns to the Novacare complex to pick up right where he left off. But it is so important to remember exactly where he was this time 1 year ago and how much that likely played a role in a rusty yet statistically impressive 2018. The franchise quarterback has been cleared for contact, although caution will be taken, and it didn't take long for Wentz to settle back into the swing of things. Wentz was unable to work out with his starting receivers last year, who were instead receiving passes from Nick Foles. This offseason is huge, with Wentz and his skill position players all able to get on the same page early. Oh yeah, and then there's a connection to Djax, which apparently was stealing the show down at the Novacare, with consecutive passes going between 11 and number 10 all afternoon. It's also business as usual for Darren Sproles, who's back for one last rodeo with the Eagles. He told reporters his decision all came down to wanting a Super Bowl, and despite the fact he had offers from 4 other teams on the table, he decided his best chance after all was in Philadelphia, and it looks as though he's taking that very seriously, with Sproles drawing praise across the board from reporters in attendance, not exactly showing the age of a 35-year-old veteran. Talking of running backs, Jordan Howard, as expected, looks to be taking the RB1 reps to kick things off, but after missing the entire spring program with a hammy injury, it was Miles Sanders who had to hit the ground running, and he did exactly that. Sanders was showing off his elusiveness and leaving those in attendance purring, making a solid impact on his first real practice as a Philadelphia Eagle, which bodes well for the naturally heavier workloads that are bound to follow the opening day. On to another intense battle, and this time it's the cornerbacks, and with Ronald Darby still off working to the sideline and Jalen Mills on the unable to perform list, the cornerback position started off as expected. Maddox and Douglas lined up outside, with Sidney Jones taking over slot duties exactly as they did during OTAs. Now, what was interesting here is that John Bartshard actually asked Malcolm Jenkins about the new look starting corners, and Jenkins responded by saying, "Frankly, you can't keep everybody." Now that to me looked like some foreshadowing. He's already accepted that as a certainty. Could he be alluding to one of the bigger names? I mean, Jalen Mills isn't exactly helping his case by watching from the sideline, while guys like Maddox and Douglas continue to make the most of their first team reps. There's a long way to go, but this is the one area of the field there are bound to be shocks, twists and turns at every day of practice. Next up, we've got Andrew Sunday. And listeners of The Outside Insider will know exactly what I'm talking about here. The first noteworthy play of training camp came from the former Viking, who some assume won't make the roster due to the compensatory pick formula. He's out to make a statement, it would currently seem, by picking off Nate Sudfeld early and jumping her out to prove that he doesn't want to go anywhere without a fight. Joe Ostman is a name on the lips of Eagles fans everywhere off season, but could the scout team standout be a real hidden gem at a light defensive end position? Well, he's going the right way about doing so by lighting up Josh Perkins, in the words of NJ.com's Zach Rosenblatt. That's a nice way to make a strong impression. He's got a long summer ahead of him and he looks bound to make the most of it. But that is everything you need to know from day one of Eagles practice. If this video was informative, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button and stick around for more. We have got so much content we're going to grind out for you all summer long. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. We really appreciate all of your support. From myself, Liam Jenkins, you can follow me at Liam Jenkins PSN. I'll see you next time.